Hello there, good day to you. It is Tuesday morning, it is episode 357, and today, my friends, we are talking about problems and how we think about problems and why it's so important to have a problem-solving mentality rather than just let the problems engulf you. So what I want you to do is don't think of problems as problems. What the hell do you mean, Dean, don't think of problems as problems? Well, it's simple. More often than not, the problem isn't the problem. The problem is a symptom of a problem. Are you following me? So you've got to think about what is causing the problem. It's not the problem itself. It's a symptom of a problem. I'll give you an example. So if you have an argument with your wife, and you or your husband or whoever it may be, if you have an argument with them, what you want to do is that's a problem. That initial argument is a problem, but you've got to dig that little bit deeper. What is causing the problem? What is the thought? What is the feeling behind that problem? For me, for example, I'll tell you an example just now. Just now, I'll tell you what has happened. Right, Claire rang me up, my wife, and she rang me up and said, "Have you seen my gloves, Dean?" I'm like, "Is she for real? It's during the daytime." She rang me up asking me for flipping gloves. I said, "No, I ain't seen your gloves, Claire." And I just started laughing. She goes, "What are you laughing at?" I goes, "Well, it's not really important, is it, to ring me about finding your gloves?" She goes, well, I just wondered where I was. I said, "Well, you'll be home in 5 minutes. You can have a look yourself. What does it matter?" And then she goes, "What's the matter with you?" And then as soon as she said, "What's the matter with you?" I knew what the matter with me was. It was nothing to do with Claire. It was nothing to do with her ringing me to ask about the gloves. In fact, I love that part of our relationship. I love the fact that she can ring me about something stupid just because she feels comfortable to ask me a stupid question. And I knew the problem wasn't the problem. The problem was with the conversation I'd had before with somebody. I'm getting some work done in my I nearly said man cave. It's not a man cave. It's the annex. It's a name for a man cave. Don't tell Claire. And the Sky's not working in there because we need a booster or something, Sky booster, and we've got an engineer to come round, and they were supposed to give me a ring. Like 15 minutes before they got there, so then I could leave working, make sure I was there for them, let them in, explain the problem, and they was going to fix it. And all of a sudden, I got a phone call from the engineer's boss saying, "Where are you? Not at home?" I said, "Well, you haven't rang me yet." And so she said, well, sorry about that. The engineer said he's rang you. I said, "No, I've checked my phone. He definitely hasn't rang me." I said, "Don't worry, I can be home in 10 minutes, 15 minutes. And if the engineer waits," yeah, no problem. He'll definitely wait. I drove all the way back home. And guess what? The engineer had gone. And I was like, there's 30 minutes. There's 30 minutes there and back to work. And I'm like, And then Claire rang me in the middle of all this. And that is why I started laughing at her and was like, not arsey or anything like that, but just a little bit different to how I normally am. And so for that reason, I thought this was a perfect episode. Well, I actually had this mapped down as a perfect episode, but my example here, I was going to talk about conversions on your website and stuff, but I think like this is a much, much better example because it's real life. And so when you are having a problem, when you're having an issue, you need to dig that a little bit deeper because so often the problem, what you think is a problem, isn't really the problem. It's something else that is driving that thought and that feeling. So you need to get to the root cause. And once you get to the root cause, then you can solve the problem and solve the issue. But solving the problem or the issue of what you perceive as a problem will not actually help the real problem because you're just doing a surface scoop of a problem. Think of it as like a root. There's a problem. There's the root. It's just coming out of the ground and you can see it. You're just chopping it off at the ground level. But the problem is still there. It's the root. So what is your root? When you've got a problem, when you've got an issue, when you've got something that needs solving, I want you to think where the root is. Don't just think about where it's sprouting up in your life because that, more often than not, isn't the real problem. It's not the real issue. The real issue lies much deeper, and that's where you come in, and that's where you need to start thinking about how to solve it and how to get to that and knowing yourself a little bit better, just digging that little bit deeper and being open, being honest with yourself. And that's critical thinking, my friends. So I want you to have a problem-solving mindset. Bosh. Okay, my friends, thank you for joining me. I feel like it was a good episode today. All right, guys, girls, bye-bye.